What is up, YouTube? Hope you guys having a wonderful day. I've been meaning to make a follow-up video on this, and I like to say that, I'm responding to the comments saying that colorism is all in my head. This isn't how, dating in Japan, I mean, not Japan, in Asia, it is at all. Or, the dating culture is not all about colorism. And I can honestly tell you that these people have never traveled to Asia, not one time in their life, or even left the country, outside the country of the US. These people have literally been watching videos and been reading stories from other people' experiences and not experienced it myself. And unless any of these individuals look like me or come from my culture, then I might, reconsider their opinion. But as of right now, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. So let's get right to it. Colorism is very much real. It is so real that the individuals of my culture or individuals from Asia have brought that mindset or that cognitive bias here. They brought it here into the US. And let me tell you how I know. And this is from personal experience. I had literally just got back from a party, right? One of my friends had just like invited me to come and hang out and chill with, right? And it happens to be that, it's an all loud party. I'm like, cool, all right, loud people, we get down, we know how to party, we know how to drink, we know how to have a good time, right? Karaoke, all that good stuff. I show up and I'm not even trying to be like, self-conscious about who I am or what I'm about, right? You know, I'm just me being me, right? I pull up, I got like a 12 pack of Modelo, and I got all these people looking at me as if like they never seen me before in my life. I'm like, okay, cool, I understand, new faces. Y'all just ain't know me. Okay, cool. Whatever. I sit down, I'm minding my own business, right? I'm just hanging out, chilling. And there comes this couple, right? Like, I don't really know them, which is normal. So I look at them just like how they did me. And I noticed that, they're a little on the older side. They're maybe like in their 40s. And bro, this woman was like staring at me hard as if like she wanted me to say something to her, right? And me being me, coming from, Asian culture, as a kid, right, we were told that unless an adult speaks to you, you don't speak to an adult unless you need something from that adult, right? Like, you need to find directions, or you need them to grab you something, stuff like that. But you don't really have this like conversation, playful, like it's all serious and if necessary, if that makes sense. So, I don't say nothing because they didn't say nothing, so they're just staring at me and being passive and weird about it. So I just put my head down and just move on with my life, right? But then it hit me. When I was in Asia, staring was a new culture shock that I had not experienced until I got to Asia, right? But then I realized that it's not that it's a culture shock, it's that's Asian culture. And I've been experiencing it my whole life, but now I've become aware of it as a grown, mature adult, right? So because, they brought that culture over here, they are still stuck in their ways, the cognitive bias. They are silently judging me by the way how I look and talk, but mostly by the way how I look. And they'll start with, the skin color, right? I'm in the middle. I'm not like a dark brown red, and I'm not also a light, white shade yellow. I'm just like a yellow brown, right? I'm in the middle ground. And they're looking at my face and they're looking at my physique, right? And they're like, huh, I had never seen a yellow brown loud person before. He must be Thai because he's so tall and he has masculine traits. Because apparently I just realized this and I figured this out one day out of the blue is that when you're considered masculine or you have darker skin uh, between Lao and Thai, right? You're considered a Thai individual. And it's like a cognitive bias, the way how they label individuals, especially males, because, darker skin color is considered masculine and lighter skin tone or lighter skin color is considered feminine. That's why you see all Asian women look like, white pasty dolls. You know what I'm saying? No offense to them, but you get what I'm saying. So the fact that, and then I also had to realize that where did these Lao people come from? They came from Vientiane, Laos, which is central Laos, right? Central Laos has a different culture and a different demographic of a of an individual person there, right? They're more, how do I put it? They're more like city folks. They consider themselves upper class. They have better educate. They consider themselves with better education, more finances. So in those terms, anybody outside of what they see as a norm, right? Which is basically pale white skin or more Chinese facial features, then they're considered either Thai or lower class, right? Or like a different type of ethnicity. But 9 times out of 10, it's a lower class, which is the South Thai or the Northeastern Thai. And it's the same culture too when you go to like Bangkok, right? Bangkok is like, that upper class where it's like literally rich and poor. It's like two separate, social classes. And when it comes to that type of individuals who grew up in that type of environment, they're gonna, classify you with those stigmas of the way how they see you and judge you, no matter who you are as an individual or your true character. So it's like, I'm thinking like it's already bad enough that, I'm already tall. I'm like 5'10", 5'11", like 170 pounds, 25% body fat. So I already stand out at, above the average Lao Thai person, which is like 5'6", 5'5". To them, it's like anybody who's taller than 5'7" is considered very tall in their ethnicity and culture, right? But here's the crazy part. I will never know what they're thinking about and they will never ask me where I'm from or, what I'm about, right? Because in the collective and what I said about the social hierarchy when it comes to your age bracket, in the collective, what they do is that they're judging you by your skin color, and that's the way how they're gonna treat you with the respect that they deem that you deserve as a person. Like for example, here in America, right? When we meet somebody new, we're judging somebody by what they do for a living. And then we'll be like, "Oh, so what do you do for a living?" or "What's your job?" And then if we like what they're doing and we're really curious or nosy, we'll ask them, "Okay, so how much does a plumber make nowadays in this economy?" Stuff like that, right? Where my culture, where I come from, if I was to ask him as a human being, I'd be like, "Ban chao," you say. That means like, "Where is your home?" And I'd decipher like, okay, so and so is from Baram, excuse me, I'm butchering these names. Seren, Uban, Nong Kai, like what I'm saying? Like depending on what area it is, that can tell me, okay, they know certain so or they grew up, certain so, but I'm not gonna treat them any different than how I'm treating them now. The collective mindset or the colorism culture is that, or the cognitive bias is that, hey, I'm going to judge you from afar and stare at you very passively because I don't like the color of your skin because of the stigmas that come with your skin color. And they assume that I am from the southeastern part of Thailand, right? Because of my masculine features, my darker skin tone, even though I'm like a brown yellow, and my yeah. So because of that, they're gonna associate it with the stigmas instead of just talking to me and asking me questions, and then they're gonna be weird and passive about it. You see what I'm saying? So, yes, colorism is very much real. And I'm not overthinking this stuff. This stuff is very much real. And I'm not saying the people who are passively like judging me are bad people. It's just that this is the way how they grew up. But also, you have to understand Asian people are hyperly competitive. They're always trying to one up each other silently and passively, right? And it's so crazy because I feel like I'm in my own league. And then once I come across my own people, when I say my own people, I meant like people in my culture, first generation, we're like, ahead of the curve. We're like pretty top, we're above average in our culture, right? They start to become competitive around me. They start to see me as a threat. It's so crazy. So it's all competitiveness, but also it's all conservatism. I don't even know how to speak today. It's all conservative culture of this type of culture that is stuck in pride and ego, you could say, across the country. But I didn't make up the rules. I've just observed them, and I am literally the walking example. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys later.